Greetings and welcome to another edition of Political Empire. I'm your host, Kim Pearsall with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. The election is over, and today we're going to talk about the vote by mail ballots. There were quite a few people who voted by mail, and then we're going to give a summary about what happened in the supervisor races, both in Riverside County and San Bernardino County, two very different races. The first one is still somewhat undecided, so we're going to talk about Riverside County first, and then we're going to talk about San Bernardino counties, which was definitely not a close race. So first, vote by mail. More than 9.1 million mail-in ballots were sent to voters prior to Election Day, and roughly 6.5 million of all votes cast were from vote by mail or early voters, according to a recent field poll that was looking at statewide figures. Now, locally in Riverside County, 55.7% of all voters voted by mail, about 254,000 of them, and in San Bernardino County, 42% of voters voted by mail, about 192,000. And now we're going to talk about the Riverside County supervisorial race. This is between incumbent supervisor Bob Buster and his challenger Kevin Jeffries. This is a squeaker of a race. Right now, Kevin Jeffries has a little more than 900 votes in the lead. And joining us today is Jeff Horseman, who's going to tell us a little bit about this. Jeff, you were here for a very late election night and have been covering it since then. Very close race. So what is the current status of what's going on with this Riverside County supervisor race?
Well, like you said, as of this taping, Kevin Jeffries is ahead by, I think it's 954 votes. 183,000 ballots remain to be counted countywide. That includes late mail-in ballots. That includes provisional ballots, which are given to voters whose eligibility is in question, and also damaged ballots requiring duplication. And while Buster isn't conceding and Kevin Jeffries isn't quite ready to declare victory, based on statistics and just historical trends, it looks like at this point that Bob Buster's going to lose and we're going to have a new supervisor.
And two what-if scenarios. So let's say that does play out, Kevin Jeffries wins, maintains that lead. What does that do for the board, for the county? How does that change things?
Well, I think the board's conservative to begin with. I think it would become perhaps even more conservative because Kevin Jeffries was a Republican state assemblyman in Sacramento and campaigned on very much cut the bureaucracy, anti-tax, limited government type of platform. And not that Bob Buster described himself as a fiscal conservative as well, so it's not going to be that radical a change, but it does make it more conservative. And if Buster wins, he's been traditionally kind of has a reputation for being kind of an independent, maybe a more moderate voice, maybe a little more attuned to environmental interests. So you continue to see that, probably much to the chagrin of Labor, which spent big in the primary to try to beat him then.
Well, Jeff, thanks so much for the update. Appreciate it. And of course, we're going to be updating you as to the results of what happens in that supervisor race. And we'll be right back with Imran Gori, who's going to tell us about what happened in San Bernardino County. So in San Bernardino County, the race was much different. It involved Neil Derry, incumbent Neil Derry, running against challenger James Ramos, who was the former tribal chairman of the San Manuel tribe. And here to tell us a little bit more about that is our San Bernardino County reporter, Imran Gori. Imran, thanks so much for being here today. So what happened? Because this was certainly not a close race. We had incumbent Neil Derry essentially conceding almost right after the polls closed.
Right. There was little suspense in the race. As soon as the first numbers came in, Supervisor Neil Derry took a look at the numbers. There was I think even then a 20-point, something like that, margin between them, and he recognized that it would be pretty much insurmountable to reverse that trend.
And what is a San Bernardino County board going to look like now with James Ramos on board, literally and figuratively?
Well, he'll be the second Democrat on the board, along with current incumbent Josie Gonzalez, who was reelected in June. But I don't know in terms of politically. I think his supporters, such as Janice Rutherford and Gonzalez, say it's more about collegiality, that he seems to be a more collaborative person. They kind of butted heads with Derry. And of course, you have a new member with Robert Levengood in the 1st District.
True, exactly. So definitely different perspectives coming into the board. As far as what he campaigned on, were there any issues in particular that you're foreseeing he's going to bring to the table?
Well, the main issue he campaigned on was creating jobs, improving the business climate, but he linked that to the county's history of corruption scandals, saying you need to get rid of that negative stigma to move the county forward. He's business owner himself, owns some restaurants, and he says he plans to move forward to kind of help out small business owners.
Nice. Well, Imran, thanks so much for the update on San Bernardino County. And again, thanks to Jeff Horseman for the update on Riverside County. And thanks to you for watching yet another edition of Political Empire. We'll see you tomorrow.